Good Monday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside that weather window. And today, lots of cloudiness. In fact, we thought it would snow a little bit throughout the afternoon today. We did have a 40% chance of snow. Really haven't seen that here in the Wenatchee area as we look down at the Wenatchee Valley from our beautiful cross camera. It's up at Wenatchee Heights, courtesy of Sky-Fi and the tower camera up there. And you can see lots of cloudiness and more snow. We picked up at least 4 to 6 inches throughout most of the area of snow over the weekend. Not much today. Tomorrow a bit of a break, and then another little storm system moves through on Wednesday, and that'll be into early Thursday. Don't expect a whole lot on Thursday, but we don't expect a lot of snow out of this next system. In fact, not much of the state will see a large amount of snow, anywhere from 1 to 3 inches around the state. Wenatchee, we might just see a dusting of snow as we get past today and into Tuesday, and we'll talk more about that and more in your weather picture coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. The Eastmont School District bus driver who left a toddler alone on a school bus for almost 20 minutes last month has retired. The Moses Lake man accused of stealing materials to create a fertilizer bomb pleaded guilty Wednesday to second-degree burglary and attempted threats to bomb or injure property. And 4 people were arrested late last week during a raid of a Soap Lake area home well known for drug activity. But first, we begin tonight. The Wenatchee School Board is negotiating with Paul Gordon to be its next school district superintendent. The Wenatchee World reports that story. Gordon is currently the superintendent of the Glen Ellen School District in Illinois. The board had planned to keep its choice for this job secret until a contract was negotiated, but board president Sonny Hemphill at a meeting Friday commented that some people were unhappy with the board's choice because he came from the Chicago area. The other 2 finalists were from Oregon and Idaho. Gordon has been superintendent of the Glen Ellen district since 2013, and prior to that was chief academic officer at the Adams 12 5-star school district in Colorado. The Eastmont School District bus driver who left a toddler alone on a school bus for almost 20 minutes last month has retired. The driver had been placed on administrative leave while the school district investigated the incident. School District Superintendent Garn Christensen says while the situation was unfortunate for all involved, there is a procedure in place at the end of a bus route and says new technology may be purchased by the district to ensure this situation never happens again.
Ideally, what happens is that at the end of the route, the driver who's responsible will walk to the end of the bus, check and make sure there aren't any students that are remaining on the bus. They'll also pick up items that may have been left, and then they'll come to the front. We actually have a card that they move from the back to the front of the bus as a signal to themselves they've completed that. For some reason, that process appears to not have been done. We're looking at some additional technology that's come along in the last couple of years to help this situation. There was a similar incident in Olympia this fall, and we looked at the technology that they're installing, which is a system where once a driver turns off a key, they have 1 minute to go to the back of the bus and push a button, otherwise an alarm. I think it's the horn starts honking in 1 minute, just as a double check to make sure that they, for some reason, don't forget to do their sweep of the bus at the end of their route and check that.
The school district says the alarms would cost about $135 each, and a camera system in each bus would cost $2,500. The Moses Lake man accused of stealing materials to create a fertilizer bomb pleaded guilty on Wednesday to second-degree burglary and attempted threats to bomb or injure property. With no prior criminal history, 39-year-old Ryan Palmer was given a reduced sentence of 55 days in county jail and 12 months of community custody. Palmer will also have to undergo treatment for mental health and substance abuse and is barred from going within 30 feet of Nutrien Ag Solutions, the company from which Palmer stole the bomb materials. During a traffic stop, Palmer warned the deputy not to attempt to move his BMW and indicated there were explosive materials inside. Palmer admitted to stealing fertilizer, diesel, magnesium, and other materials over an extended period of time from fertilizer retail Nutrien Ag Solutions to create an explosive device. Palmer advised deputies he had worked for Nutrien AG as a chemical driver until 2015 and said he blamed the fertilizer company for his daughter's birth defects. Palmer told deputies that he didn't plan to detonate the device, but rather intended to prove a point about the company's lax security. In other news, 4 people were arrested late last week during a raid of a Soap Lake area home well known for drug activity. The Grant County Sheriff's Office says the Moses Lake Regional Tactical Response Team served a search warrant about 5 a.m. last Thursday at 1289 Thomas Drive Northeast in Soap Lake. The Interagency Narcotics Enforcement Team, or INET, recovered heroin and methamphetamine at the home. The warrant was the result of a long investigation by INET into suspected drug activity there. 3 of the 4 arrested were Soap Lake residents, and the other was from Yakima. Coming up next, an update tonight on the little girl who fell through the ice at a pond near Rock Island last week. 8th District Representative Dr. Kim Schreier spent much of her time at a town hall Saturday in Wenatchee talking about immigration issues. And a bill co-sponsored by State Senator Brad Hawkins would aid local efforts to purchase Nason Ridge near Lake Wenatchee. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you. Highlander Golf Course is proud to announce their 2 new state-of-the-art full-swing golf simulators with over 80 courses of virtual golf to choose from year-round. Or try their Laser Shot simulated firearm program, or gaming with football, basketball, and much more. Enjoy Highlander food and drink service from their full-service bar and grill in the comfort of their simulator room. Call the Highlander Pro Shop to book your time at 884-4653. That's 884-4653.
Welcome back. In another news, a 6-year-old girl who spent at least 15 minutes submerged in an icy Rock Island pond last week continues to show improvement but has a long road to recovery, according to Sean Ballard of Ballard Ambulance. After being rescued from the water by Douglas County Fire District 2 firefighters, she was taken to Central Washington Hospital, then airlifted to Seattle Children's Hospital. Ballard said he's been communicating with the girl's mother, who asked, quote, "Please tell everyone to keep praying for her. It's the only thing we can do right now," end quote. 8th District Representative Dr. Kim Schreier spent much of her time at a town hall Saturday in Wenatchee talking about immigration issues, including the federal guest worker program and a path to citizenship for the undocumented people currently in the county.
Because I do not support open borders. We do need border security. I just support comprehensive immigration reform that secures our borders and has a path to citizenship and has a good guest worker program, because the farmers in this room will tell you that without a good source of labor, the fruit stays on the trees and we go belly up. So I have met with several farmers. I was just at Mosby Farms 2 days ago in Auburn talking with them about these exact issues. And labor is a really big topic of conversation combined with our whole immigration policy. And so comprehensive immigration reform has to include a path to citizenship for the 11 million people who are in this country, who are think whatever you want to think, they are keeping our economy afloat, and whether it's our farmers or our healthcare system, whatnot, we could not survive without them. And so having a path to citizenship for them before even looking at the H-2A visa system as a path to citizenship, I think we start with the people who are already here.
Schreier went on to describe President Trump's declaration of a national border crisis as unconstitutional.
We've just talked about wildfires. We talked about a lot of things that could be considered national emergencies. I would say one of those is the wildfires we have every year, the superstorms and the hurricanes we're seeing. You could classify gun violence as a national emergency. You could look at our opiate epidemic and call that a national emergency. I would not call the hundreds of women and children, families seeking refuge in our country a national emergency. And it is why I am really proud of this bipartisan group that we talked about before, coming together and looking at the evidence and saying, look, if we really want to secure our borders and keep drugs out, guess what? 90% of them come through our ports of entry. So let's beef up security there. That's the way to improve our security. So our president trying to go around Congress is just, it is unconstitutional. That the way our government works is that the president can have great ideas. He needs to cooperate with Congress, and we have the power of the purse. And so to willfully go around Democrats, Republicans, the Senate, the House, everybody to try to get funding for a project that is unpopular, ineffective, a waste of taxpayer dollars, and evidence-based says that that is not the way to improve our security, is ill-advised, unconstitutional, and just plain the wrong thing to do.
A bill co-sponsored by Senator Brad Hawkins would aid local efforts to purchase Nason Ridge near Lake Wenatchee. At one point, Weyerhaeuser planned to log much of the 3,700 forested acres near Lake Wenatchee. Hawkins' bill would create a community forest grant program that could help the Chelan Douglas Land Trust purchase the property. The trust, through its Save Nason Ridge project, already has raised $1.3 million of the estimated $5 million purchase price. At a House hearing this week, Land Trust Executive Director Kurt Soper and research ecologist Dr. Paul Hesburgh were among those testifying in favor of Senate Bill 5873. Timber industry representatives, however, testified they were concerned about such a program idling productive lands elsewhere in the state. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
Moving doesn't have to be back-breaking, stressful work. And I don't want you to make a move that way ever again.
Traditionally, you would rent a truck. You would load up your stuff. You would rent a storage unit. You would transport it. And finally, you would unload your stuff yourself. You don't have to lift a finger. We bring the mobile storage unit to you, we drop it off, then one of our trusted packers can load it for you. We come pick it up and store it securely for you. We bring it back to you. No hassle, no stress.
Dear Mary Maids, just got home from a trade show and I didn't have time to pick up the house. Kids made chili. Jeff did a mud run. Oh, and Winston shredded Teddy's bed. Again, please clean it the best you can. Oh, except for the statue Max made for me. Thanks, Abby.
Hi, Abby. Clean kitchen, clean bath, clean floor, naughty cat. Poor Teddy. The statue is precious. You should keep it forever. See you next time, Mary Maids.
If you want to work in healthcare, choose the program that teaches the skills employers want. The Charter College Medical Assistant Program combines hands-on learning in the lab with convenient online learning, plus real-life experience with an externship. Classes start every 5 weeks, so you don't have to wait to launch your new career. Enroll with confidence, knowing Charter is institutionally accredited by the Accrediting Bureau of Health Education Schools, and be ready to work in less than a year. Charter College. We work to get you to work.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. In tonight's feature story, about 60 hardy people braved the cold weather to take a dip in frigid water Saturday at the annual Polar Plunge at Walla Walla Point Park in Wenatchee. The event raised close to $18,000 for Special Olympics Washington. The Quincy Police Department Copsicles were the top group fundraisers, bringing in more than $3,600. Here's a look.
We're gonna have 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. And before we get to those details, outside we go and looking through our weather window. This was our situation throughout almost all of today with lots of cloudiness out there as we look down at the beautiful Wenatchee Valley from the Wenatchee Heights area in our Sky-Fi tower camera. Lots of snow on the hills as well. We picked up another 4 to 6 inches of snowfall over the weekend, Saturday into Sunday. So we've got a pretty hefty snow total. We'll get to that in a second. High temperatures today, man, they just won't warm up, will they? 31 degrees unofficially our high temperature today. 45 now is our normal high. 19 is where we started, and 30 is where we should be for an overnight low. Our record high back in 1995 at 62 degrees, and our record low 6 degrees back in 1993. We did pick up a little over 2/10 of an inch of moisture out of that system over the weekend. That now leaves us with 1.77 inches so far since January 1st, and about 4.8 inches officially at the airport. That now gives us 20.6 inches for the season here in the Wenatchee area. Sunrise 6:49 and the sunset will be at 5:40. Let's take a look now at our surface loop tonight at 10 o'clock. Not a lot happening. We thought we'd see a little bit of snow today. Still might see a flurry or two, but basically mostly cloudy and chilly conditions tonight as the area of snow moves over into the Rockies. What we're seeing is a large area of high pressure that's continuing to bring cold air down into north central Washington. That will continue even though tomorrow, kind of an in-between weather day with partly cloudy skies and cold high temperatures. You can see this little bit of dip in our isobars here, and that's just cold air funneling inside this trough. By Wednesday, another very small area of low pressure. You can barely see it off the coast. Will bring us about a 30% chance of snow on Wednesday, maybe, and that's a big maybe that we'll see an inch of precipitation. Now we transfer over to our cloud cover map because no weather systems are in sight for the next few days after Wednesday. Partly cloudy and slightly warmer for Thursday. You can see the clouds are moving away, so we will see a lot more sun as we get into the latter part of the week. Mostly sunny on Friday, just a light breeze out there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Most of Washington cloud free. A little bit of lingering cloudiness as we kick off our weekend on Saturday. That'll mainly be in the northern sections of Washington, but we will remain unseasonably cool even into our upcoming weekend, and Sunday more of the same. Even though we'll see lots of sunshine on Sunday, still unseasonably cool as this cold air dips all the way down into southern Oregon by the time we get into the end of the weekend. Now let's take a look at your quick lube and tune forecast tonight. It's going to be a chilly one. 14 our overnight low. Not too warm for a high tomorrow either. 26 for our high, 14 a low. Then we'll see a moderating of temperatures as we move into the end of the week. By Friday, mostly sunny skies and light winds. Mostly sunny on both Saturday and Sunday, but just not very warm, with highs then still in the low to mid 30s. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Hi, Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. When you think of Alpine Air in Wenatchee, think of professional, friendly customer service for all your heating and cooling needs. Alpine Air partners with Carrier, manufacturers of some of the best heating and air conditioning equipment available today. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Visit our store in Wenatchee, meet our people, see our shop. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
I'm working today.
I have got some work to do today.
Don't forget, I've got some work for you today.
Have a good first day at work, Mom.
Thanks.
Your donations to Goodwill fund job training programs right in our community.
New beginnings feel great, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Be a job creator. Goodwill. There's more behind the store.
Arctic Refrigeration and Heating has been serving North Central Washington for 34 years. Arctic provides the finest heating and cooling air quality products for residential and commercial customers, along with prompt and professional customer service. Arctic also offers specialty services like custom sheet metal fabrication of ductwork, coil cleaning, as well as planned fall and spring maintenance for the overall well-being of your system. Arctic is available for emergency calls 24/7. Call Arctic Refrigeration and Heating for your heating and cooling needs. And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Monday. Well, the weekend began with 4 teams from the Wenatchee Valley heading into regional basketball action. By Saturday night, only 2 remain. We begin our recap of the weekend on Friday. Wenatchee High School being the location for 2 regional games. In the opener, the Cashmere Bulldogs advanced to the quarterfinals of the State 1A Girls Tournament with a 47-34 win over Elma.
It was a poor shooting night for the Cashmere Bulldogs and a lot of turnovers, 21 in the contest, as the 2 teams combined for 46 turnovers on the night. But Brent Darnell still proud of the way his ladies fought hard.
I know they don't miss on purpose, but man, there's just those nights you have where you don't shoot the ball well from 3, but when we're missing wide open breakaway layups, and it just seemed like somebody did not want us to win this game tonight. But their effort and their fight pulled them through and got them through that one. So I love the fight that we have on our team. It's won us a lot of games.
Haley Van Lith had an off shooting night, finishing with 16 points, still leading Cashmere in scoring. But Coach Darnell says she gets credit for things that you never see in the scoring column.
The greatest thing about her, as talented as a scorer as she is, she does so many things that she doesn't get credit for. She's the best defender I've ever seen, especially on-ball defender. The best rebounder. When she gets her hands on a ball, she owns it. You know, a lot of high school girls tap with one hand. She goes up and just pops the ball and just makes a ton of plays everywhere when she's not scoring.
So it's off to the quarterfinals for Cashmere with a 47-34 win over Elma on Friday night. Coach Darnell reminded his ladies in the locker room after the contest, you can never take getting to state for granted.
I think teams and communities forget sometimes how sacred and hard it is just to get to the state tournament. I mean, there's a lot of teams in North Central Washington that haven't been even to the state tournament in years, a lot of years. And we've been fortunate enough to go and lucky enough to go for 6 years in a row. And I remind our girls of that every day, how fortunate we are just to get over here and play. So don't waste that. Don't waste the day. Don't waste the game, and enjoy it. But make sure we get after it. And our girls know that, and they do that. They do a good job of that. So we're very appreciative of where we are, and we're looking forward to getting over there. We don't take anything or any team for granted, and we still have a lot of fight on us, and we're going to get better. We will be better next game.
In the nightcap, it would be a tough night for the Antioch Lady Tigers as they would lose one of their leaders on the floor in the second quarter, who would go down with an apparent concussion, have to go to the hospital to get checked out. Faith Southard left the ball game at that point, and that is where the game would turn as Inchelium would go on for a big victory by a final of 62-38. Antioch's season comes to a close.
So here's the Les Schwab Prep scoreboard from Friday night. Cashmere downing Elma 47-34. Antioch falling to Inchelium 62-28. To look at the pairings this week at state coming up in just a bit. First, Saturday, we saw 2 Wenatchee Valley teams on the road with regional playoff games. First was the Wenatchee Panthers in Ellensburg taking on Mount Rainier Rams. Mount Rainier came out firing, hitting 7 3-pointers in the first half and taking advantage of Wenatchee turnovers to build a 21-point halftime lead. The turnovers and transition opportunities were a big difference in the first half, according to Wenatchee coach Travis Williams.
You know, we didn't take care of the ball like we needed to, and I felt like our 4 turnovers in the first quarter were all just those kind of really bad turnovers where it's not really their ball pressure or anything like that that's causing us to turn it over. It's just, you know, throwing passes over guys' heads and things like that, and it's just, and with them up pressing and stuff, it's just only going to lead to bad things and transition things for them down at the other end. But you know, I thought we played a little bit scared coming out, and unfortunately, you know, you get this far against teams like this, and they're going to make you pay for it, and then they got their head up and they got a lot of extra possessions. We didn't do a very good job boxing out today, and just kind of those fundamental things that I think we've done a really good job of this year. For whatever reason, we didn't execute those things, and you know, they definitely looked like the experienced team that was ready to go, and we definitely weren't ready like we needed to be from the start.
Travis says it was tough to say goodbye to the only senior on the team, Darius Carlson.
He's played a huge role to us in our success, and he's been one of kind of the foundational building blocks of our program. And so, you know, like we told him in the locker room, you know, I hate to send him out on this type of note, but you know, he's done a lot for this program. He's done a lot for our guys, and so you know, we just thanked him for being a part of our program and the things he's done the last few years for us.
Coach Williams hopes, however, that this is a learning lesson for his young squad that will be coming back next year, and they want to be back again in the state tournament.
It was a great experience for us. Hopefully we learned from it. Hopefully we're a little bit more prepared, you know, from the mental aspect the next time we're in this position. If we're you know, and we're going to strive to get back to this position, and I think we've got a great chance to get back here next year and the year after, you know, and hopefully we're more mentally ready to go than we were tonight at the start of the game.
Garrett Long led Wenatchee with 17 points as the Panthers ended the season 17-6. In the nightcap Saturday, the Cashmere boys took on Zilla in a seeding game for the state 1A tournament. And Zilla would show why they're one of the best teams in the state as they came out to a big lead at halftime, 44-30, and would go on for the 84-56 win. Coach Levi Hyen says it was a learning experience for his young squad.
The difference between Zilla and us, I think that we're both pretty solid offensively. We can both score a lot of points. The difference is that they play the same intensity on the defensive end as they do on the offensive end, and we're not quite there yet.
Hyen says that Zilla is one of the top teams in the state, and that's where Cashmere eventually wants to be.
They're actually, you know, they're the team that we look to as like, we want to be like this team. This team is senior loaded. Our team is mostly sophomore dominated. We knew it was going to be a tough challenge. I didn't think it would turn out this way, to be quite honest with you. But I give 100% credit to Zilla and their defense. They put pressure on us. They didn't give us any room to breathe. And, you know, the guy guarding the ball was all over us. And then when we went to turn to pass to somebody, that guy was covered up. And we haven't seen that kind of pressure. And we watch it on film, but to go out there and experience is something different. So they just took it to us defensively, really put pressure on us, and struggled to allow us to get going offensively.
So it's an early entrance into the State 1A tournament for Cashmere, as they'll play at 3:45 on Wednesday against Kingsway Christian. Coach Hyen says that he hopes his club learns from the lessons in the Zilla game.
Moving forward, you know, like I said, that they set the bar for where we want to be. That's what a state championship team looks like. We're not quite there yet, but you know, we're still in the hunt. And the state tournament starts again on Wednesday. This is kind of for seed, and that's our mentality. Is our goals are still set to the top. You know, we still have a chance to be number one. That's going to be our goal. And until that's not an option, then we move to the next goal. So, yeah, we're just going to keep pressing forward on Wednesday and see what happens.
Mason Landeck scored 22 points for Cashmere in the loss, while Zilla got 22 from Antonio Salinas. Les Schwab Prep scoreboard tells the tale. Wenatchee had its season come to an end. Cashmere falls on the road to Zilla. Other regional action on Saturday. Let's get to that, as fans in attendance at Eastmont High School Saturday were in for a treat with two great ball games. In the opener, the Brewster boys battled Tootle Lake in a loser-out game and came out on top 66-63. The nightcap was even closer as the Brewster girls edged Mapton 47-46. And at Wenatchee High School Saturday, the Okanagan boys fell in their State 1A seeding game to Seattle Academy 65-62. So what does all this mean? Well, let's start the 1A tournament in Yakima on the Sundome on Wednesday. Because of their regional losses, both Cashmere and Okanagan face loser-out games on the first day at state. Cashmere will face Kingsway Christian at 3:45. Okanagan takes on Bellevue Christian at 7:15. Should Cashmere win Wednesday, they'll have a 3:45 game Thursday against Seattle Academy. A win for Okanagan would mean a 7:15 game Thursday Thursday against Zilla. On the other side of the 1A tournament, Cashmere girls will play the winner of Zilla and Annie Wright Thursday morning at 9 o'clock. The state 2B tournament is at the Veterans Memorial Arena in Spokane. The Brewster girls face a loser-out game Wednesday night at 9 against Rainier. If they win, they'll advance to face Tri-Cities Prep Thursday at 9 p.m. The Brewster boys have the luxury of waiting until Thursday to play again. They'll take on the winner of Oroville and Willapa Valley on the second day of the 2B tournament at 9 o'clock. That's sports.